Morning, all. I'm not going to call this a news video. It's. I don't know what to call this. I guess that's an update video of sorts. We know that players are going to test positive, and apparently an Ottawa senator came out to a group chat of players, I guess, that was going on, and said he had it, and that caused an uproar. And so players are getting tested. The one thing is, I've seen some comments about who is and isn't getting tested, and it makes sense to me that some players are getting tested when they're sick. So yeah. It's not going to be the last one. This is why they're all being asked to self quarantine. This is why all this is going on. Uh, if you self quarantine, it's a 14-day period, and then we find out and we move on from there. The hockey news, according to Bob McKenzie, has laid off its staff. We are seeing a lot of people right now being laid off and out. And we're talking about servers and entertainers. There's a lot of concerts now that are being broadcast online. I would look for that to still be the case for a while yet to come. And I did a video on the Entertainment Guy yesterday on how I think this is going to change some societal norms. It's not going to be the same coming out of this. Some of how we see certain events. I think it's just going to change things, how we conduct ourselves. And they're looking at maybe one of the ideas is maybe a late July return and an August postseason, and of course that gets kind of tricky because again, in some locations, keeping ice half decent going into June has been a problem. I can't imagine it in August. And then there's also talk of an August/September finish to the season. And then what this does to free agency and the draft and everything is it would just squash it all together. Now, Bill Daly has come out today and said that whatever they do to try and salvage anything, which I know they're not salvaging anything. Well, enjoy the darkness. But if they're able to salvage anything, they want to make sure it doesn't affect the 2020-2021 season. So whatever they do, they want to make sure that it doesn't push back the start of that season and push everything completely out of whack. And we'll see. There's vaccine testing things going on right now. So all the doom and gloom, just enjoy your marathoning of all the crappy contagious movies. On other hockey-related news that I shoehorned in here, don't you like how I did that? Cole Caufield is not turning pro. He's announced he's returning to college. And you know what? I always like it when players do this. I always applaud them for saying no. Now, Keandre Miller signed earlier with the New York Rangers, of course. I covered that in a previous video. And so for Caufield to say, well, I'm going to go back to college, I think that shows a lot of maturity. I understand some players saying they're going to turn pro, but I applaud those that say no. You're furthering your education, and that's important too. There are plenty of former hockey players that probably look back and say, I kind of wish I'd done a little more with the education bit for after hockey's over, and then I got to figure out something else. The idea that they just make money forever and then just swim in that money for the rest of their life, that's not usually how that works. Because a majority of hockey players aren't going to make that 50, 60 million in their career. And I wanted to use this as a way of sort of updating people on what I'm thinking and where I'm at right now in terms of the upcoming content. So I do want to do NHL 20 live streams probably weekly. We do have 3 kids. We do have other things we have to be concerned with. So since the live streams do tend to end up being longer, the live streams I figure one for NHL 20 weekly. We'll have a channel-wide live stream. I'm leading towards channel-wide live stream for NHL 20 on Saturdays is what I'm thinking. So when we'd normally be watching Hockey Night in Canada, that's when I fire up the PlayStation, and then we'll see. I've already got a playoff file set up. I'm going to set up like my own team. I know Steve Dangle's got a team going on as well. I'm going to definitely have some of that going on in channel-wide live streams as well. It's just a relaxed Q&A kind of thing, which normally meanders off away from hockey. We do have the Patreon live streams we do weekly. We're intending to do one today. So for patrons, we're intending to do one today. I don't see any reason why we can't. I'm thinking around probably 3 o'clock my time, which is Pacific, so 6 o'clock Eastern. And of course, in Europe, that's dead middle of the night. You guys need to figure out how to have your clocks on the same time. Like in the midst of all this, let's just reset all the clocks so we all have one time a day. That's it. Everybody's on the same time. So there is no such thing as time zones. Just amazing. That's what we should do. There you go. Also, unboxing. So what I've been doing over the last, I'll say 6 months, I have a bunch of hockey card boxes around here that aren't opened. There are a ton that are not opened. I would say probably 6. And I was saving them up with the idea of, well, when the season's over, then I can do unboxings. And since they're older hockey cards, it wouldn't just be, oh, look what I got. It would be, I remember this player for this, or I remember this player for this. They can be fun for that. So there's that going on as well. And then I've wanted to restart. I started a history, not a history series, a team best series where I was going to look at, and I only did Anaheim. Anaheim's the only one on the playlist where I talked about their best GM, their best coach, best players, best all of this. And then I just went, I didn't have the time. And I've wanted to restart it. And then I looked at that video today and I went, yeah, I can do better than that. So I'm going to restart the whole thing and take the Anaheim one that was done and kind of crumple it and trash it. I mean, it'll still be there, but it's not going to be the official one. I'm going to update it. So that I'm going to be doing, and of course, history videos. There's always history videos during any off season, and jersey videos, which again will be interspersed in there. If I overdo it with jersey videos, I find that the view counts are terrible. So I'm going to be trying my best not to do that. And of course, we will have an NHL awards. So whether they do or don't continue with anything, whether they do or don't end up having an NHL awards, and with everything else being pushed back, that pushes back the awards too. That means the awards in Vegas in June, not happening. So we will have an awards here, and I will have voting on the community tab on the channel, where we will vote on who we think gets the awards. Now, what I'll do for the actual awards is I got this a long time ago, and for eagle-eyed viewers of the channel, you'll know I've had this for probably at least a year, and that's of course from The Office, Dundee Award. So I can just tape that over with a THG Award, put a little hockey stick in his hand here, and then of course he's got the briefcase here, which is fine because he's got the suit and the briefcase, because players do that, and then you got a hockey stick in the other hand, or I'll tape it there or something, and then we'll give out some awards to some players, and so that is some of what I've got in mind, and there's been a lot of good suggestions through Patreon, through email, and so I have no concerns. They also announced some changes when it comes to how taxes are going to work this year in Canada. If you haven't seen, by all means, I suggest you check it out. They're changing when payments due and all this other stuff, and when you're due to submit your taxes. So that combined with I do have a savings. You make sure when you've got something like this going on that you have savings. One thing that I realized as this channel got bigger was I thought, I want to have the ability to retire, which I didn't know if I was going to be able to do in my previous job. I did not think I would ever retire. I used to joke about it and say, well, at 65, I'm not retiring at 65. I'll be lucky if I can retire at 70. And there are increasingly cases of people just not being able to retire. You don't make enough money in retirement. So when this channel took off, I said, what? I want to be able to make sure that I can retire. So I have been smart. I know people are like, oh, he spends a lot of money in jerseys. I've been very smart in what gets spent and where, and made sure that I am regularly putting money away. So if we need to cash something in at some point, we have that as well. So I feel very blessed and very lucky because I'm still able to produce videos. I'm still able to upload them. And while, we on this platform are going to see a drop in terms of what our income is, comparatively speaking, with most people watching this, our concerns are very, very little. So, thank you guys so much for all your support and for the years and years that people have helped this channel to grow to the stage it's at now. I know in the best of videos series where I was talking about the Ducks, the subscriber count according to the board was around 22,000. We're now at like 135,000. So huge difference between then and now. And thank you guys so much for all of that. It really, really helps. So do stay home. Do practice the social distancing thing because it works. And I retweeted out a message today from Michael Bublé, and he told me he was going to be posting that. And, I was going to have this big reveal thing because I talked about there was a celebrity that got in contact with me, and, he said, he's a fan of my channel, and I was kind of mind blown. It's Michael Bublé, who is a partial owner of the Vancouver Giants. So it makes sense. He's a huge hockey fan, and he's been a fan of the channel for a long time. So by all means, if you don't follow me on Twitter, it's at Shan's Boomstick, which of course is an Evil Dead reference. Seems appropriate, so I'll just do the @ symbol. I know that doesn't look right, right? Just to make sure people understand what I'm saying here. And that's my Twitter handle. So I retweeted out a message, and that's why yesterday I said what I said in the video, because he said, it'd be great if people do this, and he said, we're trying to save lives here, and I agree. So that being said, thank you guys so much for all your support again, because it's needed. So as much as people right now are messaging me and saying I really need your videos daily, I need to make these videos daily. It is that routine that's really important. So they're not going anywhere. I'm not going to be, sitting in the backyard just, drinking vodka and looking up at the sky. That's not me. So if you see me doing that, it's not me. So yeah, thank you guys again. Do hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. I will talk to you guys again soon.